You subscribed, but are you a channel member? You probably should be.
You get extra additional content, Madden gameplays, you get early access to tons of different videos, as well as what do we call those things again? Oh, that's right. Live membership only live streams. That's right. Only for members, only for you. You get all of our time and not just football, Ant.
Yeah, lots of other stuff as well. So go ahead and click the join button right now and join the 49ers Cutback Crew.
Get some cool emojis also.
Oh, yeah, that as well.
San Francisco 49ers select
Welcome to the 49ers War Room. Alex, I'm excited about this. We got two guys that are going to come in and have a lot of fun with. I can't wait for this. This is going to be so much fun. We're going to have a great conversation. War Room episode 1 was great. We'll see if War Room episode 2 can take it to a whole nother level.
Hey, I'm believing it can. And we got two guys who we've never had on the show before. Two gentlemen who have been doing this now for a little bit of time. And we're excited to have both of you gentlemen on. Cutback Crew, please welcome 49ers First Take, Aaron and Bashar from 49erMinded. Guys, how you doing?
What's up? We're good, man. I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me on. I was going to say, I love the graphics that you guys put together. I don't know who's doing it, Alex or Ant, but whoever's doing a great job, is doing a great job. And that promo graphic of all of our faces on there, I felt like my picture was on like a poster for a upcoming WrestleMania event or something. And Alex was my manager, and I'm facing this guy with Ant being his manager. So let's do this.
There you
go. Excited, man. Aaron, how you doing, man?
Good. And I'll tell you, man, production value and the way you present things is all part of it. You guys do a really good job. That's like he says, I feel like I'm part of like a WrestleMania trailer or something. I'm ready to go out and face I don't know, The Rock or something like that.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, dig it.
Dig it indeed, and dig it indeed. And so listen, Aaron, before we get started with any of this, before we get started with War Room, let everyone know where they can find you and where they can watch your stuff.
49ers First Takes YouTube channel. Been doing this for almost 3 years now, about 4,300 subs. A slow grind to say the least, but totally worth it. Right now it's a little slow for me because it's pre-draft, but once it's post-draft and we have an idea what the Niners are doing, I like to stream at least 2 times a week. I do reaction videos. I do latest news if I'm able to do it, signings, firings, hirings, whatever you want. I try to keep you guys as updated as possible. And I love to collaborate. Bashar, I've done that. I've done collaborations with Bashar before a couple of times. And yeah, it's just 49ers First Takes on Twitter, 49ers First Takes on YouTube, 49ers First Takes on Instagram. Pretty much all the same thing across the board. So if you guys are interested, come over to the channel, drop a subscribe, drop a like, and welcome to First Takes family.
There it is. And Bashar, let everyone know where they can find you and 49erMinded. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so 49erMinded YouTube channel, just 49erMinded, and Instagram, same thing. Twitter, same thing. And there's a 49erMinded Facebook group as well. I'd never done a show by myself, actually. It's always a guest-driven kind of show where we had the back and forth, and I'm always just in for the conversation, and it's just a whole lot of fun. And on the side, we recently ventured off and started doing a hip-hop show called Chilling on the Spot, where I collab with his name's Crypto Ryan, actually, from No Border Sports Podcast, or No BS, and he has a channel with Waruna where they talk Niners stuff. But every now and then we do Chilling on the Spot, either on my channel or on his channel. We just talk about hip hop. But in general, I'm always usually talking Niners. I plan on doing some mock draft shows pretty soon of my own. And my biggest guest I had one was Larry Krueger. I also had former 49er Jamie Winborn. And in general, I love doing shows with all types of content creators. So love to have you guys on too, man. So I did plenty of good ones with them, Aaron. So.
Awesome, man. Man. Dad, we definitely have to be looking into that. And look, this is going to be a lot of fun for all of you here in chat. If this is your first time in the 49ers War Room, well, buckle up, get ready, because what is going to be happening here is First off, Cutback Crew, you're going to be voting on which of these two gentlemen, Aaron or Bashar, you want to start off as the general manager for this episode, making the first selection for the 49ers at 61, or, if you guys are feeling really froggy, I guess maybe trading up as well and going after someone if you really love somebody. Everything's on the table. Everything is possible. But before the Cutback Crew can officially vote and make their selection, you guys got to let them know why it's got to be you. Why you to start off this draft at pick 61. Aaron, watch the Cutback Crew go your direction. What do you bring to the table here?
I'm not usually a self-promoter, but all I'll say is I am a diehard Niners fan going back over 30 years. Been through the ups, the downs, the ups and downs and ups again of the 49ers. It's in my blood. I'm obsessed with it. I talk about it all the time. It's always something that I'm interested in. I don't have like I've never been to a game, guys. So that's kind of like my biggest thing I could say that I've never done. But my passion for the 49ers is unlimited. Like I said, I'm not a self-promoter. Bashar might get me on this one, but I think I have a mind for what I think this team needs as far as moves that we need to make in the draft. I think this team is not very far away. There's, 2, 3, 4 moves we make in the draft that I think could really solidify this team. And I think I have an idea what those moves should be. So if you pick me, I'll try to do the best I can to fill those needs for you.
There you go. Bashar, what about you? But before you go and make your pitch, I got to let you know, someone from chat is already letting you know he will throw your vote. He will throw the vote your way automatically if you're trading up for Trevor Penning. So just keep it in mind.
I don't even know who that is, so there's a good chance I'm not getting
it. Go make your pitch then. Go make your pitch, my guy. Why should the Cutback Crew select you?
Yeah. They're a Niner fan, been to plenty of games at Candlestick and Levi's, but wouldn't say that makes me any better or anything like that. But I played high school. I played O-line in high school. Actually, I started out playing D-line and I played O-line, and I've always had a thing for the trenches. I'd like to build from the ground up, build from the trenches, kind of like the way Shanahan does. But if I do see that flashy, game changer type of player, I may go for that guy. So we'll see, man. I want these Niners to be a better team, and maybe I'm the one to do it. Who knows?
All right, Cutback Crew, you've heard the pitches. We got 2 guys here, diehard fans, been doing it with the 49ers and for a while now, for some time. These guys have been laying it down day one for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, very compelling arguments from both. I think the Cutback Crew is going to have a very hard decision to make. Ultimately, whoever they choose is going to have a very big pick to make as well at 61, because there's a lot of options, and hopefully the board plays out so it gives these guys some really good options for the 49ers.
I want the board to play out really well for the both of you too, because I want to make it as difficult as possible for you guys to make said pick. So Ant's going to be throwing his guys out, right? Whoever the GM is going to be making the selection, and the rest of us, whether it's Ant, myself, or whichever one of you is not the general manager, we'll be making a case one way or the other, maybe for just a position to look at. Maybe it's for a specific player to look at. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to one of you two, whoever is the GM, to pull the trigger on said gentleman. Who is the person the San Francisco 49ers are going to be making their selection for? Listen, we got 43 of you here watching now. We only got 23 votes. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds, Cutback Crew. 30 more seconds to vote. If you don't know how to vote, hop into the live chat. Live chat right there at the bottom, right next to the like button, which you should have already hit, hopefully. Right between the like and the subscribe button, which hopefully you've also hit as well, and that notification bell, because then you can vote. Vote on this. Who do you want as the GM? You got 15 more seconds, TCC. And right now, Bashar is running away with the vote at the moment. Running away with that 67%. So Bashar,
Aaron's a happy camper. Let's just say that.
You get ready, my guy, because it looks like as of this moment in time, you are going to be making the selection for the 49ers at pick 61. The poll is officially closed, TCC. And just like that, with 68%, Bashar, you will be the gentleman.
Ooh, nice.
Will be the
pressure's
manager.
on my shoulders. I'm up for the challenge. Let's do this.
Hey, it is on you, my guy, but it's going to be on you here for this. So we're going to start this mock draft. We are using PFF this time, TCC. Last time around, we used PFN. And look, we want to mix this thing up and potentially bring some different people into the fold. Bring some different options for all of us to be looking at, considering, and things of that nature. So we're going to let this thing roll. We're going to let this thing get back
you
down.
Got it on fast this time.
I do have it on fast. I wanted to be able to go, but let's take a look at some of the guys who have gone already. And so you got Kyle Hamilton there. It goes at 2. Look at this here.
There goes Sauce at 5.
Sauce at 5. Derek Stingley there at 7. Garrett Wilson. Ooh, man.
For London. Wow. Okay.
Run on wide receivers. Wilson at 11. Drake London there at 12. Trent McDuffie there at 13. Interesting situations here. Let's see what else happens. Let's see what else we get going on here. Okay. There at pick. Let's see what pick 30. Let's see what pick. I'm going to let this roll a little bit here. We'll let this get down into the almost 50s. here before.
For the
we roll this
record, I've
thing
been
up.
using PFF mock draft as of late. Not that I remember all the names of the guys I picked, but I'm comfortable with this format.
Fair enough.
Nice. I like that.
Matt Corral there at 46 to the Vikings.
And there goes Ebiketie. Oh.
At 41. Ebiketie, Gordon goes at 42. As you can see, David Ajabu at 33.
Wow, so they're taking the guy, they're going to rest him an entire year. Well, it's the Jaguars, never mind.
And unfortunately for our boy,
you mean
Mr.
Trent
Corey,
Baalke took an injured player?
I'm stunned, Ant. I'm absolutely stunned that Trent Baalke. PFF has Trent Baalke nailed. They know exactly what he likes to do.
Wow.
The Tampa Bay
We all want to
Buccaneers.
kick Trent Baalke's ass because of that that Christian Kirk
fair.
signing.
It's fair, my guy. 27. The Bucks took Trevor Penning. So, Mr. Corey, unfortunately, your man is gone. He is gone. Boy Mafi there at 32, Ant. Very
I
interesting.
think that's a solid pick.
I like that too. I like that pick for them there. Let's see here what ends up happening the rest of the way and who is available. So Quay Walker was the last selection right before Nicholas Petit-Frere, Darian Kennard, Cameron Thomas, DeMarvin Leal, Christian Harris, Chad Muma. So
Don't tell me Christian
guys,
Watson's available, guys, because I might be a fanboy and go up and get him.
Hey, listen, I completely get it if that's the case, but let's take a look at best available players. So hold on, first and foremost, Bashar, Mr. GM, we got some trade opportunities here. We have some trade options on the table that we need to look at and let you see what they are. The Denver Broncos want to trade up from 64 to 61. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars that want to trade up from 65. You have the Houston Texans that want to trade up from 68, and the Dallas Cowboys that want to trade up from 88. Do you want to move back at all, or would you rather look at players first?
Just keep in mind that when I'm looking at my screen, the whole part with the trade options is a little blurry. So just kind of clue me on which trade option might be the best one, because it doesn't really.
Let's look at players first, right? Let's look at players. So here's best available. You have Nick Benito at the top. You have the edge rusher out of Oklahoma. You have Brian Asamoah out of Oklahoma. You have Kingsley Enagbare from South Carolina, the edge rusher. Tackle Abraham Lucas out of Washington State. Linebacker Troy Anderson. Wide receiver Jalen Tolbert out of South Alabama. Linebacker Brandon Smith out of Penn State. The tight end Trey McBride out of Colorado State. And safety Kirby Joseph. Those are kind of your top 7 or 8 guys right there that are available. Ant, looking at this list, is there a guy or a gentleman that you want to make a pitch to right now for Bashar at pick 61?
Well, the first thing I see is out of the guys that are available, the top 2 guys on my board would be the 2 edge rushers, Nick Benito from Oklahoma, Kingsley from South Carolina. And I think Nick Benito, as far as the speed rush guy, would be an absolute bang-up draft pick because he could come off the edge in key situations as a specific edge rusher. D Ford's role, especially opposite of Nick Bosa, I think he would be very nice in that role. So he would be the first one that I would lean to at 61. But then Kingsley after that, if you're wanting a guy that's going to eventually develop into a more base guy, he could do that. Other than that, I see the 2 linebackers. I don't think we're going to draft a linebacker right now. That doesn't make sense for the 49ers at pick 61 because they want somebody that's going to impact their team right now.
Fair. Aaron, is there a guy or a position that you're looking at right now that you really like or maybe want to see a little bit more from?
I agree with him on Nick Benito. Edge is huge for us. We need a bookend for Bosa, and the fact that he's a speed rusher, who more of a situational pass rusher than say a base end. A base end's fine, but I think we have a pretty good. I think our depth is pretty good along as far as like base players on defense. So I would love to have a player that could really come in on second and long and third down and provide that help for Bosa. Because I feel like what D Ford did in 2019 to unlock the pass rush, we could have somebody even closer, similar than to that, who's younger and more healthy. The Niners defensive line during the early part of 2019 was just, they were unblockable. So if I had to really make a case for somebody, I would go with Nick Benito, no doubt.
Yeah, he's going to say that. Now, Bashar, you had mentioned wide receiver. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
I did mention wide receiver only because I'm a big, now as much as I want to edge with our first pick, because I do think it's very important, I'm also that Christian Watson fanboy. Keep in mind, I wasn't a Johnny come lately with him. I was actually bringing him up way back in September and October to some of my 49er buddies. So I've always been high on the guy. But and another thing as far as the edge rushers go, I was just about to answer you out of Benito and the other guy whose name escapes it, Nagabare.
Kingsley and Nagbari.
There you go. I was going to say, hey, who's more the speed rusher? Because I've actually watched both, but a lot of it's been a blur to me with the pass rushers, I'll be honest. But I would rather go with the guy who is more the speed rusher, case in point, Nick Benito. But I think by the looks of it, looks like maybe Watson was taken.
It looks like Christian Watson was taken. I'm trying to find out exactly where, but I don't
where'd he go?
know.
Just
There it is.
curious.
Pick 49 to the Saints is where he went. But here's the
49.
thing. Here's the thing. He did go 49, which is ironically enough, the San Francisco 49. I'm just saying that's pretty ironic. But look, I'm going to play on your these inhibitions, Bashar. I'm not going to go edge rusher. I'm not going to go with the two gentlemen over here. You said wide receiver. I understand what you're thinking, right? It's the same thought process that Ant had. You either want to get after, and Aaron both. You either want to get after said quarterback of the opposing team, or you want to help our quarterback, right? It's one of those two things. That's what it feels like pick 61 is. And guess what? You can do that in a huge way with a huge wide receiver who I've dubbed as Drake London light in Alec Pierce. 6'3", extremely athletic, ridiculously fast, can take the top off the defense 100% of the way. I love Benito. And I absolutely love Kingsley and Ogbury as well out of South Carolina. Those are two great options there. But with both guys available, we could let a few picks roll. And if Aaron wants to get really aggressive, try and trade back up here and grab one of those two gentlemen. We could still potentially do that. I don't know if you can do that with Alec Pierce.
But you don't have to. You could come up later and get John Mechie.
You might be able to get John Mechie, but he don't have that kind of size, Ant. He doesn't have that same kind of size and speed.
Yeah, but
to
Alex
take the
Pierce
top
don't
off
have
the
that
defense.
kind of wiggle either.
How about Romeo Dobbs? What's your guys'
Ooh.
opinion on him?
I don't dislike Romeo Dobbs.
Romeo Dobbs is a good player. I mean, he really is. I think he's somebody that if you drafted an edge rusher right now will be potentially available at 93. You could draft him there.
That's what that's what I kind of had in mind.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
there you go. So, I mean, that's the thing that Alex, the GM, is kind of going me and Aaron's way on this.
You know what? Listen. As much as I absolutely just don't want this because I really want Alec Pierce, like of everything that I could possibly get right now, because very rarely do you see him available in these spots. I cannot knock GM Bashar here if he decides to go with Benito.
I just want
Kingsley
help for
Ogbury.
Bosa. I just want more speed on the other edge and opposite side for Bosa. Just help him out.
Hey, I get it, man. So which guy are you thinking? Are you thinking Benito, who is, I would say, of the two of them, that would be the more premier type of edge rusher? Ant and Aaron, would you agree with that between the two of them?
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying Benito.
Benito for sure.
Benito, yeah, I would go Benito.
Benito
the
Applebum,
speed,
if you know that
the
reference.
speed on the first step. Nagbury could eventually get there, but right now, Benito is that guy.
There it is. So Bashar, GM Bashar has made the selection TCC. It is Nick Benito. It is the man,
Benito
the gentleman.
Applebum, you got to put me on.
That's right, out of Oklahoma. So there is pick 61 off the board. And guys, let me get over to the board itself so you can actually see some other gentlemen who were just selected and just drafted. You had Perry and Winfrey go after that. Kingsley and Ogbury went at 63. Trey McBride went there at 64. You've had Troy Anderson, Brandon Smith, Daniel Falele, Brian Asamoah, Martin Emerson, Jameer Slayer, Calvin Austin III, and Abraham Lucas. So we're getting close to pick 75. We're not picking again to 93. Aaron, you are now the general manager officially. At this point, do you want to try and trade up, or would you like to keep ourselves right where we're at 93 and see what happens?
Do the trades involve only this year's draft picks?
Nope.
No,
general manager.
You can do as much as you want.
Well, I feel like the Niners have a little bit of an access of not access, but they have some of the compensatory picks. I would love to trade back up and maybe go after a safety here. I think safety is a sneaky need. Well, it's actually a real need, not a sneaky need, because they haven't re-signed Tart, and they have a guy coming over from the Colts in, what is his last name? Odom.
It's true.
Who's more or less a special teams player who's had some starts. That doesn't really give me a lot of confidence. As much as I like Afunga playing close to the line of scrimmage, I think he's a liability in coverage. So, man, if we could somehow move up and get a safety and really solidify the secondary, because now we already have Javarius Ward and now a safety and then an edge rusher, dude, the defense could really transform next year if we could get a safety that could make some plays in the secondary. So if I could trade up, that's what it would be for.
Fair enough.
And what safeties are available?
That I won't know until we can actually get to that spot. Okay. So I know we had Kirby. I think it was Kirby Joseph that was still available. The gentleman out of Illinois as well. Okay. The name is escaping me. So there are some names definitely there and available that we could trade up for. The question is how far do we want to come up? We could try and come up to 75. The Broncos are sitting there. They need a corner. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that would be their first pick, so they may not be going or wanting to trade that away at this point in time. But we also could go after maybe around that 80 mark, Ant? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wherever Aaron feels comfortable coming up to. You know, the closer you are to 80, the less draft capital you're gonna have to give up. But he's right. 11 potential picks next year with the compensatories that we have so far. You do have some capital to play with.
So where are you comfortable with, Aaron? You comfortable 79, 80, 81, 82, 83? What are you feeling?
I'd say go to pick 79. The year I was
Pick
born.
79.
Let's go with that.
There we go. I like it. And he wants to go right to the year
You're aging
born.
yourself, Aaron.
42 years old, baby.
So what other picks do we want to give up? Do you want to give up 93 to come up? I'm assuming 93 and let's see here. Do we want to go 93 and 172 and something else?
I'd say pick 93, maybe a next year's fourth, possibly. If we have it's hard to say. I don't know.
We have a fourth. We have a fourth. What's another pick you think we should throw in here to make this sweeten this thing up a little bit?
I think you're going to have to give them a pretty good amount. So if you're going to give a next year's fourth, that's worth a fifth in your value chart. You're probably going to have to give up something this year. Potentially, like you said, 172 would make sense. You probably need to throw one of those 6-round compensatory picks. So I mean, the thing is you have to determine what you want to give. But I think those 6-round compensatory picks, having 2 right there, one of those would be the most likely to give up.
Okay.
But it's probably going to take at least a couple, probably 3 picks to move up.
So if that is the case there, if it's going to take 3 to come up there, let's go with what you originally said here, Aaron. Let's go with pick 93, pick 1. We'll go 172. We'll add that in. And the fourth rounder next year. You feel good with that, GM Aaron?
I think so.
All right, let's offer that trade up. Let's see what ends up happening. The trade has been offered and the trade has been accepted. So the San Francisco 49ers have moved up to pick 79 from 93. You only gave up 172 and a 4th rounder next year to come up into the top 100 again, and even further ahead into the top 100.
So you give up 2 4th-round picks and you were able to move up.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, so let's see what ends up happening here. We'll let this thing roll a little bit. We had another wide receiver go, an edge go, a wide receiver and Alec Pierce that went, a linebacker. You have the Browns there who took a guard, Cole Strange. So now we're sitting in a position where Kirby Joseph was one of the best available players the last time through, and he is still going to be available here at this spot. And let me pull up these available players for you, GM Aaron, so you can see. So you have Kirby Joseph sitting there at the 65 ranked player, sitting there available for us at 79. You have Nick Cross out of Maryland sitting at 90, Brian Cook out of Cincinnati. So if you want to go safety, these are your options. Bashar, is there a name here in the safety position that you like, or do you want to make a pitch for potentially another player, maybe even a best available player? And if I pull that up right now, you still have Justin Ross, Dylan Parham, Carson Strong, Darian Beavers, Kellen Dyche, Damian Pierce, and Khalil Shakir out of Boise State.
Okay, so let me get this straight. I'm because I know you had him involved. Am I making the pick right now, or is he making the pick?
No. Aaron is making the pick, but is there a position or a guy that you want to make a pitch for?
At this point in time, I mean, honestly, I saw Kirby Joseph a whole lot on my mock drafts.
Same.
And he looks like he might be a difference maker for us. So I'll be okay with us getting him. I mean, I don't really see anybody on this list right now that pretty much stands out. So I've seen these names before, but nobody really stands out on my end where I'm like, oh, hey, let's get this guy instead. I mean, Kirby Joseph is somebody who I did have in mind actually at one point. So I'd be for it.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, he's talking about getting a safety. I would argue maybe against getting a safety because I'm about getting impact players in this position. I'm not sure that Kirby Joseph would come in and start over the guys we currently have on the roster, not to mention potentially Jaquiski Tartt coming back. But I get the allure of going and getting a safety. I see Dylan Parham on there, and even then I would scale back, maybe getting an interior offensive lineman because of that. We did not address wide receiver with our first pick. This would have been where I would have went wide receiver. We saw some good ones come off the board with Mechie and Alec Pierce just come off. So now you've got Khalil Shakir that's possibly right there, a receiver that could make an impact. And with the way that the rankings are going right now, potentially somebody, him or Dabbs, won't be available at 105. There are guys farther down the list that you could go with, potentially a Gray from SMU or a Reggie Roberson, but I'm about getting impact players. It doesn't mean I'm opposed to taking a safety. I just wonder if you can't just get Nick Cross at 105 or one of the other safeties if you need to go safety.
Look, I understand 100% what you're saying, and there are some really good really good safety names coming up. There are some guys here that I really like. Nick Cross out of Maryland there, if he fell to 105, would be an absolute steal for us at this spot there. Kirby Joseph is a solid. I mean, it is a great pick here.
What do you guys see? I'm curious, between Kirby Joseph and Nick Cross, do you see much of a difference in talent level? Because I know PFF has them ranked one a bit higher than the other.
I don't have them necessarily like them being significantly different. Here's the thing. Kirby Joseph shows a lot of positive traits. Illinois secondary players, there are a handful of teams in college where their secondary players stand out on tape. Kirby Joseph, Illinois secondary players stand out. Syracuse secondary players stand out. Washington secondary players stand out. And for whatever reason, and Oregon secondary players tend to stand out on film when you watch them in terms of fit in the 49ers scheme. The only question I have, though, and the only concern I have is he better than current guys on our roster? That's it. I like everything there. I think there's a lot of potential there, but it might be developmental. It might need a year in order to be at a spot where you're like, hey, this guy's ready to step in and be the dude for this team. Whereas some of these other gentlemen and some of these other guys on this list, Dylan Parham could potentially come in and push. Khalil Shakir can definitely come in and immediately take an uptick in the wide receiver room, as well as a few other gentlemen. But look, this is tough here. This is really, really tough because as a guy who loves his wide receivers, I love Khalil Shakir here at 80. There's also a chance that you could be able to get a guy like David Bell at 105 potentially, who absolutely love his film and his run after the catch ability and playmaking ability with the ball in his hand over the middle of the field, something that Kyle Shanahan will be salivating over at that 105 spot. So I don't know if there's necessarily a wrong way to go here. You were aggressive, Mr. GM. You wanted to come up for the safety. One of the best available guys that was on the board at 61 when we picked is still here and available. What are you thinking?
You guys may have actually talked me off of going at safety at this spot. I actually think guard would actually be a better choice.
Oh,
because if he's going to be a player that's going to sit, or if he's going to be a player that's kind of just like the other guys and has to work into the role, the Niners need someone on the offensive line like yesterday. So, I mean, with
you don't trust Aaron Banks or McKinney?
Hell no. I don't trust any of those guys after Trent Williams. With the loss of Laken Tomlinson and with the uncertainty of Jalen Moore and Aaron Banks, I think going guard and maybe having him at guard, maybe moving him to center, maybe after, Alex Mack retires, if that's a possibility. I think I've been talked off of the safety ledge, and I've jumped onto the Dylan Parham
train here.
Yeah.
Hey, this isn't a bad selection. Does anyone want to talk him off the train? Is the question.
I wanted to say this is off topic, but doesn't Aaron's background remind you of Revenge of the Sith?
There you go. It's a little bit of red. That red's deep.
Those lightsabers in the corner, right?
Hey, that too. I forgot about the lightsabers. You're not wrong there, Bashar. Hey, do you want to talk him down off the Dylan Parham ledge?
No, I think that when it comes down to it, you're looking for an impact player. I know Ken Martin in our chat is saying that he believes Parham could start. The one thing about drafting an interior offensive lineman, the 49ers have done it once in the Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch regime, and that was Aaron Banks last year. They normally draft offensive tackles and then use them on the inside. Dylan Parham is an excellent guy, excellent player. In fact, I draft him a lot when I do my mock drafts because I do think he's a nice fit for the 49ers. So I understand it. Safety, guard, the switch. You're looking to get players that can help Trey Lance ultimately. So if you believe that Dylan Parham can start day one as an offensive guard for your team, I don't think you think twice about it and you make the move. If you believe he's developmental, then you have a little bit more of a conversation. But if GM Aaron believes that he's going to start day one, then yeah, it's a bang-up selection.
And I'm not going to talk him down off this ledge either because this is a guy that I always target in these spots.
Yeah.
Dylan Parham, if he's anywhere in that 70, 80 range when I'm looking at drafts, especially on PFF where I know that's where they've put his value at, I'm trying to find a way to make sure I can walk away with him. And if he slides any further than that, it's not even a hesitation when we get to this spot. So the only real question left, GM Aaron, is this the guy? Is it Dylan Parham here at 79?
Dylan Parham is the dude. Let's do it.
It is.
I absolutely love it.
The trenches, baby.
We got ourselves an interior offensive lineman.
And is he a guy that blocks well in space? Because I always look at their profiles and see if they're either a mauler guy or a space guy. Like
He's a scheme fit. So, I mean, he fits what the 49ers want to do. He's going to be able to, play the inside and the outside zone. Plus, he's going to be able to pull in the gap scheme. So he's a really nice selection, a very, very talented player. So, yeah, he would be a very nice selection. The competition in the interior just got ramped up a big way by GM Aaron selecting Dylan Parham.
Not wrong there, Ant.
And
You were not wrong there.
Go ahead.
Hey, Aaron.
What my thought is too is if he actually starts day one, you could possibly have Jalen Moore go to right tackle if Mike McGlinchey isn't ready. Because Mike McGlinchey's looking like he weighs about as much as I do, but I'm 6'3". He looks like he's about 6'7". So I'm 260 fat, like I'm out of shape, but he's my weight, but like gazillion inches more. So
Almost 6'8".
Yeah, dude's almost 6'8", and he's looking skinny. So hell, you move Jalen Moore over to right tackle. You have Aaron Bakes at left guard. You have Mack at center, and then you have the new draft pick at the right guard. I think you solidify the offensive line.
Well, and potentially, I mean, if Daniel Brunskill signs his tender, if Mike McGlinchey's not ready to go, it could actually be Daniel Brunskill at right tackle. Who could compete as well with Mr. Jalen Moore.
Yeah.
Jalen Moore needs to beat him out. I am not a Brunskill guy at all.
I liked Moore when he played tackle. He looked pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, here's the issue with Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore is a very good pass blocker. The problem is the reason that he got started over by the players that start by Colton McKivitz was he wasn't good in the run game yet. He's still developing the run game part of it. Kyle Shanahan, run game first coach.
Right.
So that's his problem. Is he improves it during the offseason, he could slide in there, no problem. He's going to be one of those guys to keep an eye on. It's just how far has he gotten along with that?
Great.
Right. Apparently in the chat, I just made somebody break their TV.
I was gonna say there's a lot of funny stuff going on in the chat. I barely been paying attention to it, but when I do,
sorry.
Oh, that's Joey Mahoney. What's up, Mahoney? I see him.
Yeah.
I saw Waruna in there. I saw Ryan, Crypto Ryan for No Border Sports. So
Jeez.
saw you guys. Saw Kelts.
I hope the TV wasn't expensive.
Hopefully not either, guys. But look, let's let this thing roll a little bit. Greg Dulcich just went to the New York Football Giants. That's actually a great selection for them, seeing as they moved on from Evan Ingram.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. That's a good selection. They are switching coaches, so I'm not sure Dulcich is going to fit what they're going to try to do there, but okay, go for it.
It is what it is. We're off to pick 105, gentlemen. The wonderful selection of 105, and unfortunately, some wide receivers did go off the board. So let's roll through some of those wideouts that went off the board.
I was definitely thinking about receiver this round too, guys.
First and foremost, James Cook went at 96 to the Broncos. It's a great selection from them there. Khalil Shakir went to the Kansas City Chiefs. They're at 94. Great selection. The Tennessee Titans went and grabbed David Bell at 90. So really got aggressive and went after a wide receiver. Wan'Dale Robinson at 84 as well. So there are going to be some options. There are going to be some guys here. And I know I just heard you, GM Bashar. I just heard you. Wide receiver is what you want to look at. So let's pull up the wide receiver options and let's see if there's anything that would make sense here at 105. So first and foremost, you have Josh Johnson from Tulsa sitting there, Kyle Phillips as well, Kevin Austin Jr. at Notre Dame, Javion Hale, Bo Melton, Tyquan Thornton, Reggie Roberson, Danny Gray, or even Aaron. Do any of these names that you like here at 105, or does this all feel like maybe you're reaching on a wide receiver here?
I mean, is wide receiver as big a need as, say, like safety or slot corner? I don't think so.
You could argue bigger, maybe not than slot corner, but then the wide receiver could be bigger than safety. Where safety you have all the depth right now of NFL caliber players.
True.
Where at wide receiver you have 3 because you don't actually have Jawan Jennings under contract. We know that's a formality. He'll eventually be there. But then there's 4, and then a bunch of guys I know that they're signing to fill out their 90-man. But how many of those guys are going to make the roster? Are we counting on Keyshawn Johnson to be one of those guys?
Or who was the gentleman that signed today? Malik Turner?
There was Marcus Johnson and
Malik Turner.
Hand bodies, right?
I mean, it may be. There could be something there, right?
That's what Rohan said. He said they were camp bodies.
we hear on the podcast when the signing of Trent Sherfield came through last year, it felt like a potential camp body or a guy that was going to contribute on special teams, and he got into the system here and had himself a nice training camp.
But sure, I'm actually going to pitch to you going nickel corner right now with Marcus Jones out of the University of Houston. The guy would absolutely be able to step in day one and start in the nickel, and you would fill one of those holes that we know exists. I know it's not the safety that we've been talking about, but he would absolutely fill this role. He could step in day one and help the transition from K1 Williams because right now that is a definite hole for the Niners.
Yeah, and I'll say this right now. Usually when I do these mock drafts, are we 10 players deep on that list right now? I don't really go deeper than that. If there's a position of a player that I want, because for me it's like best player available, and then I'll throw in a little need in there too. And Marcus Jones is one of the guys I was looking at. I was looking at Zach Tom too. We did already address some O-line earlier. I see there's other guys, but nickel corner, and obviously that's very important. You know, when we have these, I keep forgetting the guy's name because he's so terrible. Josh Norman. We have horrible guys like Josh Norman. I think we re-signed him, right? We brought him back. I don't know what we're doing.
No, I don't think they brought
he's not coming
back.
back.
Him
No,
and
they didn't bring back, no.
him and Kirkpatrick are long gone, I think.
Yeah, Kirkpatrick is definitely.
Nick Newman can sleep well tonight. Nick Newman can sleep well knowing that Drake Kirkpatrick and Josh Norman are nowhere near the San Francisco.
Was it Kirkpatrick the one that the guy rocked in that Cardinals game by that running
Yes.
back?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, that was so bad.
Look, in these situations, and I usually like to be contradictory. I usually want to make the tough choice. For me, I can't make this tough choice. You can't make a better pitch and a better argument than to address not only a need, but a guy who completely fits the scheme, is going to be phenomenal in the slot for the San Francisco 49ers, and probably could start right now, day one, in that spot. He's at least going to make it difficult. He's going to make training camp fun to watch at that position.
I don't know what number pick are we at right now? Like the number of the pick.
105.
105.
105. Okay. And with the next pick, do you guys think Danny Gray is going to be available? Not that I'd reach for him now, but I'm just
He
curious.
would be.
Danny Gray is one of the guys I had in mind because I love his route to the catch ability. My friend Joey was telling me about him a while back, and I watched a lot of his film, and I liked what I saw.
Yeah.
Danny Gray is my draft crush at wide receiver. Now, I like John Mechie, but Danny Gray has been my guy since the first time I saw SMU film because I was really high on Reggie Roberson last year.
I mean, I heard a lot about Reggie Roberson too. I heard he was pretty good in the same school.
He's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a nice late round.
He got picked already though, right?
No,
Not yet. He's
Oh,
still
not
on
yet,
the board
okay.
also.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Marcus Jones with this pick though. I mean, I'd never reach for a receiver at where we're at right now with those players on the board. I wouldn't do that, and I know how big of a need that the corner is, and I was looking at this guy a few times on my mock. So, yeah, that's definitely that's a pretty good pick
solid
right there.
selection from GM Bashar.
No, Gia Bashar, that is a wonderful selection. The TCC in the chat right now was basically spamming no brainer. They were basically spamming no brainer. You
Yeah.
make this move right here.
Nobody
you
will break their
solidify.
TV on this pick.
No, nobody's gonna break the TV on this pick. But in all honesty, I wouldn't have broken my TV personally on the last one there. A big fan of Dylan Parham, huge fan of Dylan Parham, in fact. So look, after that wonderful selection there by a GM Bashar, and we had a nice little run there. I believe if I can actually get this thing to show up there. A nice little run on a variety of guys. D'Angelo Malone goes. Donovan West has gone as well.
Good players, yeah.
Absolutely wonderful players. We're picking at 134. We're going to let this thing roll a little bit, let it get a little bit closer and see where we're at. So we're going to be on the clock here, but let's take a look. Haskell Garrett has gone, as well as Matt Waletzko. Rashad White, halfback out of Arizona State.
Very good pick.
Sam Williams there, edge rusher out of Mississippi. Cam Jorgens, a guy that we are
But you
fans
went
of over
Dylan
here.
Parham earlier, so going interior offensive line twice, maybe not, the best move.
And we had a 3-pick stretch of tight ends at 121, 122, and 123 with Jalen Weidermeyer, Jelani Woods, and Jeremy Ruckert. So 3 of those gentlemen gone as well. We probably did a really good thing here because after we took cornerback, there was a run on corners. There were 4 cornerbacks selected after from 105 to 134. So there's a good chance if you didn't get Marcus Jones there, you weren't going to get one of the best available corners coming back around there at 134. So Bashar, an extra home run on top of the already wonderful selection that was Marcus Jones. But now the pressure churns and it shifts a little bit here, Aaron. Back to you, good sir, and back to you with what are you with options here and availability. We picked now at 134. We don't have the pick 172 selection. We traded that away to move up, so we're not picking again until 187. What position are you thinking you want to take a look at here?
I think wide receiver would definitely be a smart position to go after. Only because, like you said, there's 3 players. We have those 2 guys plus Ray. So, someone who could contribute, maybe not, as a starter, but as a good depth piece. I would think wide receiver would be probably your best route.
Fair.
And go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I was
okay,
going to
so,
say, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's a lot of options here, so let's scroll through it a little bit, but go ahead, Aaron, continue on.
My thing is, Kyle loves his big slot, and I'm definitely a fan of bigger receivers in the slot. If that's where you're going to go, that's why I was a big fan of Juwan Jennings this season, even though he's really slow. He doesn't really have a lot of after the catch speed. Yeah, that would be an interesting move.
Miss.
He does. My whole thing too. And then Kyle loves guys that are great route runners that can, make moves after the catch. People with a little wiggle. So it's kind of a tough pick for me. Either you go the big slot or you go to a guy that can actually maybe take the top off the defense.
Fair. Bashar, is there a receiver here that you're loving?
Well, I mentioned Danny Gray earlier. Is Robertson available too?
They both are, yeah.
Oh, they both are. And see, the other guys, I see them ranked a bit higher according to PFF. I'm just not as familiar with those guys. I'll be honest. I heard a little bit about Kyle Phillips, but if you guys want to pitch in and sell me on these other guys who are ranked higher according to PFF, go right ahead. Because I do love. I mean, for what I saw in Danny Gray, I just loved his run after the catch ability. He just looked really explosive. So, and I didn't watch Roberson as much, but if you guys can try to pitch me on somebody, I'm all ears.
Yeah, I think that for me, the number one guy would be Danny Gray. I like what Danny Gray does after the catch. He's a really sophisticated route runner. He's got a little bit of work to do on it, getting in and out of his break, but I think that's something he's going to continue to get better on. He's just got to create a little bit more separation, but he was doing a great job at SMU. And also he won on contested catches. So, balls that got in the air that were around him, he would come up with them. That was something great. But I see a lot of potential in him, and I think that he would fit really nice in Kyle Shanahan's system, especially in the way that he's going to be used because of the guys they already have. The only problem with that is the one thing he does have 4.3 speed, but the one thing we do know is that Kyle does want a taller wide receiver. So I'm gonna play a little contrarian here. Even though I want Danny Gray, I'm gonna throw someone else out there for you guys to have to think about, and that's Tyquan Thornton, because he runs a 4.23 at 6'2", 180 pounds from Baylor. And the reason I want to throw that out there is I want this conversation to be had. I want to make it clear. I would go with Danny Gray, but when you see those measurables in size and what we've been talking about with the 49ers potentially being interested in Christian Watson, here is Christian Watson, the light version, the Diet Coke, just 1 calorie. This is that guy.
Yeah, but you left out the last part of that, Ant, which is just 1 calorie. Not even enough, because despite the fact that the man is 6'2", he's got 4.2 speed, which is all great. His route tree is small. Talk about a not great route runner. This guy doesn't do a whole lot other than verticals and slants. That's what you're getting out of this gentleman.
To do.
Now listen, that's fine. You were right, Ant. But you could go after a guy in Danny Gray who's got 4.3 speed. Close. Not the same. Doesn't have the size, but is a better route runner. Or you could go with the guy that I'm actually going to pitch you on here.
Oh.
And that's Kyle Phillips. A guy who has Kyle Shanahan written all over him. He is on the shorter side. He doesn't have the size that you were talking about. But he's got 4.5 speed. Something that Deebo Samuel had coming out of the draft. So it's fast enough. It's not burner speed, but it's fast enough. But you know what you don't have to worry about with Kyle Phillips? Route running. Kyle Phillips has the entire package in terms of route running, release, getting off the ball, getting open in space, sits down in zone, smart wide receiver. Definitely a better talent than a guy like Trent Taylor who came out. And I know the Niners have shifted away from smaller wide receivers, but that's because they haven't found a guy like Kyle Phillips since they've had Trent Taylor in San Francisco. Kyle Phillips is a significantly better version of what Trent Taylor was, and we all saw how well him and Jimmy Garoppolo connected when he was healthy very early on in his career in San Francisco. Kyle Phillips would help take this offense and uptick it to the next level, give Trey Lance a security blanket underneath, a guy that he can always know, I can turn, find, rely on this guy, get him the ball in space, and he's going to make plays, run after the catch ability is there. He's just not the top-end burner, but he's always going to be open.
It's funny. It's funny because Kyle Phillips is the one that I turned him on.
He 100% did, and I absolutely love everything about the film. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think you can go wrong here with a lot of these guys. No. All of these wide receivers here would be wonderful selections. Every single one of them. So now the question is just which one? Which gentleman are you leaning towards? Are you leaning towards the size and the speed of Tyquan Thornton? Are you leaning towards the route running and the upside, the high upside run after catch ability like Bashar had mentioned and Ant mentioned with Danny Gray? Mm-hmm. Or is that route running the priority? Because if the route running is the priority, you're not going to get necessarily the top end speed with Kyle Phillips or even the top end size, but a guy who can consistently get open in space, make plays, catch the ball, and he's got run after the catch ability. It's not Danny Gray levels of run after the catch ability, but it's there.
It's yeah.
Now let me interject really quick. With Thornton only being 180 pounds, is he going to be able to take the pounding of the NFL with catches over the middle and stuff like that? Because I haven't watched him. You guys have, so.
With which player?
Tyquan Thornton.
Thornton only being 180 pounds, and that's a bit of a concern for me.
No, that's the huge concern is strength. Overall upper body strength. Will he be able to get off press release? There's a lot of questions there if he'll be able to do that. Early on, you would think the 49ers would be able to use him in motion, potentially put him in the slot, and then let him create that way. But you're right, that is a weakness, and we also don't know anything about how good he's going to be as a blocker. And that's something that Kyle Shanahan really enjoys. Yeah.
So who's making this pick? Is it Aaron or is it me?
It is Aaron. It is Aaron.
Come on,
Aaron's
Aaron.
got this one here. This is a tough one, man. This is a tough one.
Hey, do this, Aaron. Go on, open up a browser tab and just pull up Danny Gray. It'll be easy.
See, Tyquan Thornton is tempting to me only because you guys say that he's got 4.2 speed?
4.23, yeah.
4.23, and he's like Christian Watson light. And his knock is his route tree. Well, the route tree was the knock on DK Metcalf coming out of college as well. And
Deebo Samuel.
And look at both of them. So
the only difference, though, between the two guys you named and Tyquan Thornton is both of them are 220 plus.
And physical.
Right.
And Tyquan Thornton is 177. He weighs as much as my right leg.
Yeah, I'm pretty heavy too.
Yeah, my right leg.
Yeah, my right leg, yeah. I take what the people say I take, what's bigger than him. Man. You got me on Tyquan Thornton and what happened? Where'd the screen go?
Can you see it still? You good?
Yeah, when Bashar talked, it switched to his camera. Was it? You guys said it was Kyle. Was it Kyle Phillips the one? He's smaller, but he's a great route runner. Is that what?
Yeah, Kyle Phillips out of UCLA. And then there's Tyquan Thornton at Baylor. That's the taller, speedier, rangier guy, and then Danny Gray, who's kind of the middle ground between the two. He's got Tyquan-esque speed.
While Aaron's thinking, give everyone a rundown of who we've picked so far. People that are joining the chat want to know who we've picked so far.
Correct. So as of right now, chat, as of right now, the 49ers have selected themselves a handful of wonderful players. At 105, you got Marcus Jones. We traded up from 105. We traded up from 93, 79 to get Dylan Parham, and then at 61 we took edge rusher Nick Bonito. So we've gone edge, we've gone guard, interior offensive line with Dylan Parham, and we have selected at 105 Marcus Jones and addressed the nickel corner slot. So now we're really just looking at wide receivers and filling out that wide receiver room and trying to get some speed and maybe some talent or just a guy who fits in the scheme in the system. It really just comes down to what direction Aaron wants to go here. This is the tough part here, right at the spot. There's so many options and flavors to go with this, and all of them make sense because all of them are guys that Kyle would be salivating over.
And the chat, just so you know, Aaron, the chat is very, very heavy into Danny Gray.
Yeah, so, I'm kind of leaning towards Danny Gray just because he has a little bit of both. And, you're right. The size of Tyquan Thornton, 180 pounds of wide receiver, especially with a team that likes to run the ball, that's a huge concern. And is he going to be big enough when the season starts? Is it going to take him a couple off seasons, a couple training camps, couple OTAs to get to that speed? So I'm going to go Danny Gray as well.
Well played.
Very well played. This is not a bad selection here. This is an excellent selection, my guy.
Bashar doesn't want another Catman.
No Catman.
I don't like him. Oh God, don't even get me started on him. I hated him that pick that minute they made it.
It definitely didn't work out. We all can agree.
He blocked me on Twitter.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, the 49ers are kind of famous for that, though, right? Because they liked they liked John Ross. They ended up with Dante Pettis. Then they liked N'Keal Harry, and they ended up with Brandon Ayuk. This is something that they do. They like someone on film, and they end up transitioning to their counterpart. So
it's true.
Maybe they liked Reggie Roberson last year, and now they're like, yeah, Danny Gray's our guy.
Very accurate. Could be the case there. Could be the case. All right, we got another pick here at 187. So we got a little bit of rolling to do here. A little bit of rolling to do.
187 on the undercover cop.
That's true. That's very true. And Bashar, you're going to be the gentleman that's on the clock. So let's take a look at a couple of things that had happened after we made our selection. First and foremost, Zach Carter went. We had back-to-back edge rushers. So Zach Carter, Tyreek Smith go. Kyron Williams after that. Safety Verone McKinley out of Oregon. Kyle Phillips ends up going at 140, not too long after that. Then you have some tight ends go. Another wide receiver at 148 there, Kevin Austin Jr.
Kevin Austin Jr. is a solid pick, too.
Wonderful. My draft tight end crush Ant and Grant Calcaterra goes at 145 to the Denver Broncos.
I got one of my guys.
Solid selection there. Pierre Strong, running back, goes to Atlanta.
Pierre? Okay.
That's a good one. Amari Barno goes to the Seattle Seahawks there. Not happy about that, Ant. Don't like that.
It doesn't fit their scheme, so they're going to have to figure out something special for him. But
That's accurate.
That's what I would do if I was the Niners and took him. So
It's fair enough.
and Frank, I do not believe Nick Cross is still available. I thought I seen him go way back, like maybe like 108 to 110, like around there.
And I can try and find that out. So Bashar, you're going to be on the clock here. It is going to be
Yeah,
your turn.
the guys in the chat are screaming safety, and I was still thinking about safety from before. So, it's definitely been on my
Let's take a
mind.
look at
What round are we in?
We are currently
Round
going
5.
to be in round. Actually, technically, it's round 6.
Six. Okay.
Round 6 at this point. So 187. Round 6. Safety options that are available: Tyson Anderson here, JT Woods as well out of Baylor, Percy Butler, Smoke Monday.
I know Smoke Monday. I want all the smoke.
Out of Auburn, and Brad
Great name.
Hawkins Brad Hawkins out of Michigan are the guys that are in the top 200, right around where we're going to be sitting at right now. So we're at pick 187. These are your safety options. Anyone that stand out here, Aaron or Bashar, that you're liking, or you maybe want Bashar to be going after or looking at? Or
You guys would
position?
have to pitch me on these guys, because Smoke Monday is the only name I really, really recognize on this, and I'm not sure if those other guys above him are any better, or maybe we could just wait around and get a guy like Smoke in another round. I don't know if it's worth making that risk though.
Yeah, you could get Smoke later. That's for sure.
Possibly, it is possible. Do you like what you're seeing here, Aaron, or is there another name or another position you want to be taking a look at, maybe?
Safety seems like the most. I mean, at this point in the draft, if you're drafting a safety, he's going to be depth at this point. So to me, and plus, looking at the draft this year, my familiarity with a lot of these guys is next to nil. I know the chat's going to be like, why is he on here? But yeah, I mean, safety. I mean, we covered, let's see, we covered the slot corner, we covered guard, we drafted an edge.
Wide receiver, we got an edge as well.
Yeah, can you look
Safety
at
would
best
be-
available, Alex?
Absolutely, I can look at best available as well.
Okay, because I see some guys right off the bat that they're not safeties, but right away you have guys that fit the 49ers scheme that you could go with. Of course, you have Ty Chandler down there at the bottom with 4.38 speed. That's a running back you could be interested in. JT Woods is the next safety, potentially. But go back up to the top, because there's two guys up there. Noah
What about
Ellis,
Derek
an interior
Deese Jr.?
defensive lineman. Derek Deese Jr., I don't think he makes the 49ers roster. I mean, I just don't think he's good enough to beat out Dwelly, Charlie Warner, and of course George Kittle.
And for me too, at the tight end spot, after about Grant Calcaterra, we start to get to a point where the guys that are coming in after that, those are guys who I'm not convinced can beat somebody. And Ant and I differ
It's just
on
not a good tight end
Calcaterra.
draft then.
Ant and I differ on Calcaterra in terms of, can he beat out some of the other guys that are on the roster, just because he's weak as a blocking option and very talented as a receiving option, as a receiving tight end sort of threat for any team that drafts him. So after that, and he's ranked like one in the 140s, I think, somewhere in there, 145. After that, the tight end room just gets a little soft.
I feel like halfback would be your best option at this point in the draft, because, I mean, we got Elijah Mitchell in the 6th round last year, right? And it's best player available. I mean,
Look, I mean, Bashar, Ant just gave you a list of names. I'm just going to come out and say it, because this is a running back that every day that I watch him, I fall a little bit more in love with him, and that's Tyson Chandler out of North Carolina. He's got the 4.39 speed. He's got top end type talent. He can kind of fill that void of Raheem Mostert in terms of the outside zone running ability. It is not the same as Raheem Mostert.
He's not Raheem Mostert.
No, he's not Raheem Mostert.
He can't fill the role of Raheem Mostert.
He can't fill the whole of Raheem Mostert, but what he can do is improve your third down running back room immediately right now. Take someone like JaMychal Hasty and make him expendable, and give you some additional things and be able to run the outside zone fairly well. This is a guy who's very much an outside zone runner. He does have some patience as well. He can run between the tackles. This isn't an Elijah Mitchell level talent, but this immediately improves the running back room the minute you draft him.
Yeah, he becomes a better third down back. That's not the case, right? He could potentially beat out JaMychal Hasty because he has the 4.39 speed. He has that ability. If you're going running back, I mean, though, I would want to go for the best all-around running back, not one that's pigeonholed in that potential spot, because you could get somebody that has a lot of speed later, because Isaiah Pacheco is still going to be on the board potentially. And if Pacheco is still on the board later, you could potentially draft him in the 6th round, the 7th round, you don't have to do that if you want. You can sign him as an undrafted free agent, and he will fit that. A 4.37 guy in the combine. So that is something you look at. I would go to Condry White if I was going running back, though. I like what he does. 6'1", over 215 pounds, can catch the ball in the backfield. A big physical running back would eventually be a replacement for Jeff Wilson Jr. Now, it would mean that you're adding a similar player, that Elijah Mitchell would be your speed guy and that he would be the opposite guy. But it would ensure you in case Trey Sermon doesn't work out. He's a cut and go guy, elusive in space. That's where I would go. But I like the Ty Chandler move as well, so I'm not going to hate on that either.
Fair enough.
But I had to go ahead and throw some salt on you a little bit.
Well, it's true. But listen, if Bashar, if you're set on safety, of the guys that are available there, JT Woods is probably the one that makes the most sense. If you do want to go safety, the one I think that would translate best into the scheme with the guys that are available.
Yeah, and people are throwing out as well. Jerrion Ely as a speedster later on in the draft is a potential guy as well.
Correct. And we still got pick 220, 221, and 252.
Yeah, that's a lot. So, I mean, do we have to go running back? That's the decision to make from the GM.
It's true. GM Bashar, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Pierre Strong go in the previous round. I'll be honest,
Pierre Strong
it did kind of bother
yeah.
me. So, because I've watched a good amount of that guy, and mainly not just because Raheem Mostert left, but I was like, okay, not saying that he's Raheem Mostert because there's no, Raheem Mostert runs outside zone probably better than anybody out there. But as far as the guys I saw coming out of college, Pierre Strong looked pretty good to me. Now, if you can tell me that this guy Tyson Chandler might be the next best thing or available this round, it sounds like something I'd go for. So
look, I will say it till I'm blue in the face. I absolutely love a lot of the things this guy does. I think this guy can eventually kind of work himself into a rotational role with the team. I don't know if he'll ever be an RB1 type of workhorse back, but if you're the Niners, you don't need that. You don't need a workhorse back. You just want to improve the room, right? You just want a better room than having to rely on JaMychal Hasty to be your third down back in space.
And not running Debo through the tackles. And
right. Yeah, JaMychal Hasty is definitely not on my favorites list for sure.
Yeah, I think those other safeties that we saw are probably going to be available at 220. So let's get this guy Chandler right now.
All right. I like it. I like the selection there, my guy. Tyson Chandler, it is there at 187. We've now addressed running back as well. And JT Woods went off the board immediately after that at 188 to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Solid pick.
So they take themselves a safety, Daniel Bellinger, a tight end at a San Diego State. Not a bad option there either. And then Cade Mays to Tennessee. Let's see. We're rolling to 220. Rolling 220.
Nice.
Unless, of course, Aaron, or Bashar, even if you want to make the pitch for Aaron, do you guys want to move up? Here's the question. Do you guys want to pick Mr. Irrelevant at 262?
No.
Mr. Irrelevant.
I feel like we should just blow it all on this next one and try to get somebody that can fill a need.
Okay, so where do you want to come up, I guess, is the real question then. Do you want to try and come up around 192? Do you want to try and come up to 194? What are you thinking? This will be you, GM Aaron. This one's all you, Mike.
Let's come up to 195.
195. Oh, the Chargers again. I like it. And he's targeting the Chargers. They were suckers the last time. I don't blame them. So 195 there. We'd be giving up probably 220, 221. You want to try and get 252 as well, and we might have to give up one more pick.
Let's do a 7th in 2023.
A 7th in 2023. It is, my guy. So we're going to give up 220, 221, 262, Mr. Irrelevant, and a round 7 in 2023 for pick 195. Did it not? It did not take.
It didn't take that. They picked up smoke too. That made me mad.
They picked up smoke Monday. So we could try 200 there with the Patriots and do a very similar thing there.
Let's do 200 with the Patriots.
Okay,
try to bamboozle them.
Patriots.
And what are you giving up?
220, 221, 252, and a 7th next year.
You're giving up all that to move up 20 spots. I'm sorry, I'm pounding the table. Let's take away the 7th from next.
Somebody said let's
I'm
draft a
questioning
punter.
my GM. I can't let this happen.
All right, so what do you want to give up then to move up to 200, Ed? Or do you want to just sit pat?
I'm not saying don't trade up. I'm just wondering why you're giving up all that capital. I get giving up the 7th round pick, but you're moving up 20 spots, not 40 spots.
Okay.
It does help, guys.
Let's take away the 7th in 2022. Or
Okay, the
23.
7th in 2023. Okay, so you want to do 220, 221, and 252?
Let's keep Mr. Irrelevant. And we'll
wants
go
to
with
keep Mr. Irrelevant and go just 2020 to pick 220 and to pick 221?
yeah.
I'm not the general manager.
Okay.
I would not do this, but I'm not the general manager.
Fair enough. All right, let's see. We're going to offer this up. We'll see what happens. They declined said pick. They declined the trade. So they declined the trade at 200 there.
Yeah.
They don't want to move back 20 spots.
So I think the best option then would be to stay where we are and make a pick. I just don't think it's. I mean, especially at this point in the draft. I know, because once you get into the 7th round, Mr. Irrelevant, it's like, to me, it's whatever at that point. To be honest with you,
the Niners have been very good with undrafted guys. So maybe there's a guy sitting there at the
they
back
are
end.
very, very good at undrafted free agents. That's unbelievable.
It's true. So we'll let this thing roll through a little bit here. We'll let it get to 220. We're gonna have back-to-back picks here at 220 and 221. And let's see here. Let me get the best available players up on the board. And oh my goodness gracious almighty!
In that late round, I remember.
Oh my goodness gracious almighty! There's Matt Arias out of San Diego State just sitting there. He's just sitting there. But there's some good names here. There's actually some really good names and some options here. There's a safety, Brad Hawkins out of Michigan. You also have Jalen Naylor out of Michigan State. There are some interesting gentlemen here.
No relation to Jesse Naylor.
What are you guys thinking? What are we feeling here? No relation to Jesse Naylor. What are we feeling here? Ant, is there anything that you're liking here?
This is when you get to this spot, you're looking for guys that would have elite traits. So that's what I want to find. I want to find someone that's really fast, someone that can improve the team somehow. So you're looking for someone that has an elite trait. Jalen Naylor's a solid receiver. Maybe potentially that could be one, but I don't see an elite trait there, so I wouldn't go there. But go down the list. Let's see, because I don't really care what these rankings say. I want to find players that potentially could help make big time plays for your team. Freifogel has elite height potentially. Keep going. There's Dixon. Wow, we're really getting down there, aren't we?
We're starting to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Kalen Barnes. Okay, I'm gonna pitch us getting a corner right now, and Kalen Barnes, elite speed, another 4.2 guy, someone that's got to develop. But we're looking to improve the cornerback room. So you draft a guy that can potentially develop, maybe take over for Dante Johnson or one of those guys, Darquez Denard, on your roster. But I think you're looking for traits, and right now he's the one I've seen so far that has an elite trait that I'd be interested in. Fair.
Bashar, is there any names that you've been seeing or that you're looking at, or maybe a position you want me to pull up to try and make a pitch here? For you to make
Naylor,
a pitch to GMN.
Like Ann said, it wouldn't really make sense to go wide receiver right now. My question is, not that I want to draft a punter, because I really don't, but is this punter right here better than...
You don't do it at 220. You don't do it at 220. You'll pick 221.
Would you do it at so you do it at 221, but not 220.
Wait, let me save my 221 pitch for 221. Let me save my 221 pitch for 221. All right?
To quote Mark Willard from 95.7 on the Willard and Dib show, they had this little thing. They sing the song and they go, "Oh, I got 99 problems and a Mitch ain't one." Mitch Wisnowski. I'm not saying that I think Mitch Wisnowski's that great or anything.
Oh, he's horrible.
I was just saying or one of those guys an upgrade. I wouldn't mind an upgrade. Hey.
Maybe they are. I'm not going to make the pitch there at 220. I won't.
I'm thinking safety because we didn't do it earlier, but I don't. The only thing is I don't know much about this Hopkins guy. I saw his name jump up on the mocks I was doing, but I just don't know much about him.
Look, I'm not going to make the pitch. I personally am not going to make the pitch for Hawkins. I think at this point with the selections that we've made, it's pretty obvious that the guys that were available and on the board we liked a lot better than potentially some of the safety options, right? So I wouldn't make the pitch there in that case for a guy like that. I think you're looking for someone like Ant said with elite traits. I think you're looking for someone that can do certain things and add something to the table for your team. That's what you're looking for. I can't knock his Kalen Barnes pitch at all because it is a fantastic pitch. It's a phenomenal pitch. It's a pitch for a guy that has an elite skill set and speed that you just can't teach at the NFL level. And yeah, there's some development there, but the Niners have already shown that they'll draft and go after and develop guys like that and will do different things. Look, though, what I will do, Ant, is make the pitch for Connor Hayward, for our boy Gary in the chat, who absolutely loves Connor Hayward out of Michigan. Now, here's the only thing.
I heard a lot about Hayward.
You could probably get this guy at the Mr. Irrelevant pick. So he will probably still be available there at 262. But again, someone whose elite trait is utility. He can be used in a variety of different ways.
There you go.
There is no one else in the draft that has the versatility that this guy has. Tight end, he can kick return. He would be a monster on special teams. He would also be a guy who could play tight end, also roll in and slide in and play fullback if you needed to, and sort of an H-back slot.
Kind of like a Delaney Walker, a poor man's Delaney Walker.
There you go. I mean, that's a good comparison there. But because you can get him later, I have to roll with Ant here on the Kalen Barnes just because of the speed. That elite speed, you can't teach that. And that also means that when he does get toasted and beat at times when he has to go in, he can make up. He has makeup speed. You don't even have to worry about it.
You guys sold me on this guy because you said he has an elite trait, and these other guys, obviously, when you're drafting this low, normally they don't. So, and we need help in the DB. We're just in the whole DB room in general. So although he's not a safety, I definitely like what I hear from you guys. What you guys are telling me about this Kalen Barnes guy from Baylor.
Fair. GM Aaron, what are you thinking?
I agree.
Speed it is, my guy.
Can't teach speed.
Nope.
You really can't. You can't teach
it.
And you just got a lot faster in the last two picks, the running back room and now the cornerback room. So at least you've added that, potentially special teams as well. Kalen Barnes, a gunner potentially. That could be a way for him to carve out a route on the team and make the team right away.
You're not wrong. And look, GM Bashar, we got 221. We're picking right away again. And listen, there are a lot of names. There's a lot of things that you could do here. There's a lot of other people that you could go after. But I'm not even going to scroll off of the first page here. At 183, you have Matt Ariaza. Aaron talked about it. He doesn't like Mitch Wishnowsky. He doesn't have the field flipping ability. But you know what Matt Ariaza has? He has field flipping ability. He's bombing 70-yard punts. This is one of the strongest leg kickers, punters, coming out of a draft in some time. This kid is special. He's got a leg.
Bashar.
You could draft this guy in. You could bring this guy in. And if he were somehow able to supersede, and he could supersede and replace Mitch Wishnowsky, you could cut and get off that contract and be rolling with a rookie punter in the 6th round. Back into the 6th round. I'm down for this here at 221.
Well,
I'm down for Ariaza.
I can't kick it with you.
You can't kick it with me.
No, I'm not down to punt this one. Why are you punting this kick away? There's other players on here that you can get.
You're talking about impact players. This guy could be your starting punter this year.
Yeah, you know what an impact would be? Isaiah Pacheco. You had Ty Chandler, but you have no guarantee that he's going to be that guy. Niners doubled up on running backs last year. You could do that. Also, you look at some of the other players that are on here. You talk about the safety from Michigan. Very good player. Played under Jim Harbaugh, which means he understands pro concepts, coverage concepts, can play in the box. Potentially, that's a way to go as well. I can't go with you on the kicker, but I understand where you're coming from. But I'm not ready to move on from Mitch. I'm not like,
hey, listen,
how much money are you saving going from a 4th to a 6th round pick?
I mean, you're saving
pennies on the dollar. Come on.
Couple hundred.
Unless you know for sure Arias is going to be a much improved player.
I know he can flip the field.
I'm looking for something else.
I know that when Trey struggles and has some times where he misses on some things early downs inside the 10, that Arias can get you on the other side of the field.
You know what helped Trey not struggle is having a running back like Isaiah Pacheco, who's 213 pounds but still runs a 4.37 and can get after it in a big way. Then short fields are already there. Mitch Wisnowski can pin people back. There you go.
Pacheco already got drafted, right? Is that correct?
No, he's still available. Yeah.
Oh, he's available. So we would be doubling up our running backs. I get that. And we still have Sherman in the mix. We still have Elijah Mitchell. Obviously,
we do have a lot of running backs. You're right.
True.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking Hawkins.
I mean, listen, here's the thing, and this is why I didn't make the pitch for Hawkins there, because I did like Kalen Barnes' upside a lot more than Hawkins. But with Kalen Barnes now in your room and you have him there, Hawkins did play in a Harbaugh scheme, right? A defensive scheme that is pro level ready. So he's going to understand pro concepts. There's going to be less of a learning curve. It's really just a matter of where does he slot in and what can he do for you this year. But at this point, when you're picking at 221, right, that's what you're getting. You're getting guys who have some positive things about them, but have some work to do and develop as well. Yeah.
I mean, I had to pull up Hawkins's bio, his draft report, and I'll say let's take a flyer on the guy. Let's go Brad Hawkins. Maybe, somebody to challenge Hufanga, and may the best guy win. That's how I look at it. Best safety win.
Well, but potentially Brad Hawkins' role to make the roster too could be special teams.
True.
They do have some good special team safeties, but Hawkins, that would be a role that he could fill. So when you're getting into late rounds, you want elite traits and guys that can help you on special teams with a focus on special teams. There you go. Even though Alex was trying to pitch the ultimate special teamer.
That's right.
In a
I think he'll be available at this last pick, won't
You don't understand, though. I hate Mitch Wisnowski so much.
he?
Hey, listen,
I've never
if you
seen
had
one
been
guy
making the
that
pitch-
looks so
Okay, he got drafted.
disengaged.
Ariza got drafted. Ariza.
Aaron, if you had been the guy there, we may have ended up with Matt Ariaza.
I
it's
would have
fine.
drafted punter for sure.
There we go. But listen, we got 262 now. We got Mr. Irrelevant, and there are a lot of options. There's a lot of ways we could go. Bashar, is there any position or anything that you're looking at here? I'm going to try and slow scroll through this here. There's the Connor Hayward gentleman that I had mentioned as well. There's a lot of potential names here, and I think I know.
Ooh.
I think I know what you're going to do.
Do you?
I think I do.
I don't know if you do.
Oh, you don't. Oh, you don't think so?
What do you think?
No, I mean, listen. If I was a betting man, I'd say you're going to be going Dustin Crum here.
I do like Dustin Crum, but no, I'm not going Dustin Crum. I seen a name on there. I couldn't believe was still on there.
Ooh, Brock Purdy.
Is it?
No, Kyron Johnson out of Kansas.
At
Oh,
edge-
the
edge
edge.
rusher. He's got a lot of abilities. He's got a quick first step. I'm like, oh, edge rusher. I know you're gonna pitch Connor Hayward. I like Connor Hayward a lot.
I'm
but-
actually not here.
Oh wow, yeah, because I saw Kyron Johnson. I was really surprised he's still on the board. And we know how the 49ers value edge rushers. Thanks to John Chapman, I know they've actually met with 8 edge rushers during the offseason.
Yeah.
So we only drafted 1. You never know.
Never know.
Kick the tires on this one, maybe.
You also could go after Andrew Stuber. You just want a Michigan guy. You just want a Michigan prospect. You could go Stuber, a guy who has the flexibility to potentially move inside as well. He is in terms of a guy.
a guard.
He's a guy who played tackle, but he's truly a guard. Talk about something that literally fits the mold of what Kyle Shanahan and this whole front office, right? John Lynch, the scouting department. These are the type of things that they look for. And I see Jay Ellie in the chat talking about Iowa State tight end Allen. Iowa State tight end Allen as well is a possibility. He's got some upside there and some possibility there. Chase Allen. There's also Austin Allen out of Nebraska, who's got a little bit more size.
Slow.
He is super slow though. I mean, he is dummy slow. Super slow, and he actually makes me look somewhat fast, which is kind of impressive.
I don't know what he ran, but
I think it was like a 4.7 or 4. It was a high 4.7 or mid 4.8s.
Well, that's good. He's like
Make
he's
him a
like
tackle.
tenth of a second faster than I was. So there you go.
So there's that. What are you feeling here, Mr. Aaron, for Mr. Irrelevant? What do you?
I have been sold on readdressing edge at this point in the draft because I feel like the Niners can never have enough, and I feel like they can never have enough pass rush. That's the way they build their team. Like Bashar was saying, the Niners, and because he played offensive line, playing from the inside out. That's how the Niners have built this team. Pretty much, they've built from offensive, defensive line, mainly defensive line. I can't have enough guys that can rush the passer. Nick Bosa needs help. I feel like Nick Bosa at times last year was the only guy that. I mean, the Niners were good, but I mean, there's games where Bosa looks like he just ran. He was looking rough.
In the Cowboys game, he had success, but at times he was getting beat up by those gigantic mammoths, and yeah, it wasn't looking good at times. But
because I'm all about bringing waves of pass rush. The more waves you can bring, the better. If you can have a rotation where you're bringing 2-3 waves of guys, why not go edge again at this pick?
I don't hate this here. I really don't. I don't hate this as much as I would like to pitch for somebody else. If this is the route you want to go, Kyron Johnson here, I'm stunned that he's on the board here.
Yeah, and let's just say what the chat is saying right now, right? We've seen Stuber. We're seeing edge rushers potentially a way to go. Now Jay Ellie's throwing out there Pacheco.
No Border Sports saying go safety, which we already addressed.
We just went safety. So there's that. And then you got guys are going all the way kind of around in the chat, but I would still go Kyron. Kyron. Yeah, I like him a lot.
There you go. Aaron, what are you thinking?
Kyron Johnson it is.
Ooh, I like that.
Kyron Johnson it is. That is the selection there.
Gotta watch some Senior Bowl of him too. Watch the practices, Aaron. Some really good stuff with him going to get some good guys. And even though he's a little bit smaller and he's got some development to go, his long arm is pretty good. So he's definitely someone that at this point would have huge value.
He's not PETA. He's not PETA small, right? The guy that the Niners drafted a couple of years ago that could never make the team.
No,
PETA Tamapinu.
Yeah.
Think of like Alex Barrett. Like that's what he kind of looks like. Where he's a little bit slimmer. Yeah, that's kind of what he looks like. So, potentially, he could be that replacement on the practice squad for Alex Barrett. You're younger. That's a little bit cheaper if he didn't make the roster. But he's got some good coaches there to be able to teach him. So, you never know.
Very true. And look, guys, Well, what a draft here. What an incredible mock draft here. Nick Bonito there at 61, the trade up to 79 to select Dylan Parham. You grabbed Marcus Jones as well at 105, Danny Gray at 134.
I love the F
Wow.
grade. Thank you.
You got the
PFF.
F for
I
Danny
know.
Gray. I love it.
I hate that. I absolutely hate that. A lot of places don't put him very high. They do not value
I
him very
noticed
high.
that.
But here's the thing. The Niners met with him, and not only that, there are people now that are starting to mock and put him in situations where he could potentially go in the 4th round in some places. There's
A B plus grade draft is beautiful.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
take the B
true.
plus.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, you can't go by all their rankings. Like Danny Gray, I have a 3rd round grade on. So where we took him in the 4th round is a bang up selection as far as I'm concerned. I see a lot of the potential, what he could do in Kyle Shanahan's offense. And a lot of times when they're grading these guys, they're not grading them on scheme fit. You know what I mean? They're only grading them on what potentially they do, their measurables and how they played at SMU. But putting them in a different situation, they're going to play so much better. Just getting their skill sets involved in what Kyle wants to do with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gentlemen, how do you feel? How do you feel about your not only your first war room, but the group you just selected? Because the two of you are the ones who had to pull the trigger. The pressure's on you, and you did it. How you feeling about this group?
I feel like we've addressed. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll just say I'm feeling good. I just think we covered a lot of needs, and that every now and then we kind of jumped up and got somebody that was kind of a little bit of above need, but more of like a want pick. But at the end of the day, there were some guys that we took that we didn't think were going to be available in certain spots, and that's what we did. So
I think it's important to, it's hard sometimes because you don't want to draft for need because I feel like you reach, but at the same time, best player available, like you're kind of caught. I feel like the Niners, like going edge with their first pick, it's something that they need. And I feel like if he is the best guy out there, the most, all like you said, it's all about elite traits, then you have to make that move. So a B plus overall grade in the draft, I think that's fantastic. Like you said, Bashar said, we nailed a lot of key areas that we needed on our team. And remember, the Niners are boss level good when it comes to undrafted free agents, so they wouldn't even be done. They'd still have work to do.
Yeah, and potentially there's a lot of guys, Connor Hayward, Isaiah Pacheco, running back, or slash like Hayward could play tight end, running back, H-back, lots of potential there. There's lots of players, not to mention all the linebackers and safeties they could potentially bring in as undrafted free agents. You're right, Aaron.
Or
they're one of the best teams to do it.
Quarterback as well. I mean, they could add to that room and depth. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone here that truly believes Jimmy Garoppolo will still be sticking around through most of the season. I think at some point we all expect him to not be around, which means at this point you'd be looking at Trey Lance and Nate Sudfeld, which means there's got to be another name that they may look at. And, undrafted free agent options are definitely a possibility. De'Aaron King, Dustin Crum, especially if they're all still there, are all options the Niners could look at. De'Aaron King would make a lot of sense just because of the mobility.
And he could make sense playing a non-quarterback position.
True.
De'Aaron King has a lot of ability there as the quarterback, and I think he could transition to running back, potentially slot receiver, could be somebody that you're looking to develop. So he's somebody to keep an eye on just in a multitude of ways.
Very true. Very, very true. Look, gentlemen, we cannot thank you enough for coming on for the second episode, the second edition ever of 49ers War Room. An absolutely stacked draft with some solid selections, both early and late. Some aggressive plays and moving up, which I always love to see because the more we can pick in the top 150, the better for the San Francisco 49ers, in my opinion. But Aaron, let everyone know where they can find you one last time.
49ers First Takes on YouTube, 49ers First Takes Twitter, Instagram. My Facebook's pretty much just me. I do post 49ers First Take stuff. I used to do the Facebook streams, but no one watched off of Facebook, so I'm just like, that was pointless. So yeah, that's where you can find me. I do, like I said, I do a lot of I really enjoy collaboration, especially in the off season. I try to regularly collab with guys like either not John Chapman, Jesse Naylor, or
Jack Hammer.
We're definitely guys. I haven't streamed with Rob Shue in a while, but yeah, I'm big on the collaboration, especially in the off season and in the regular season. I do a lot of post game stuff as much as I can. Yeah, it's like I do breaking news whenever something happens. If I'm able to get a video up, I'll definitely keep everybody up to date on everything that's going on. I would love to have you guys on at some point. I know I'm not big on trying to, pump my chest about my own channel and someone else's stream, but I would definitely, you guys seemed really knowledgeable, especially about the draft. So if that's ever a possibility, please let me know.
Come on,
course,
Aaron.
yeah.
Nobody grinds harder than you do.
Hey, listen, man, we would absolutely love that. So we could definitely hook up and connect and talk about that. And hey, listen, we cannot thank you enough. It's great to have you on for the very first time, Aaron.
Thank
and
you.
Bashar, you as well, my guy, and let everyone know where they can find you and 49ers Minded.
Oh yeah, so 49er Minded. It's funny that you pluralize it because one of my other friends does that, but it's okay. I'm not.
I do all the time. It's because
I
I'm
know,
used to saying
it's
49ers. It
I
just rolls
laugh
off the
at those
tongue,
things. I
man.
don't
It
know
just
why I
rolls
find it
off.
funny. I'm glad to finally be on here because I've watched you guys for a long time, and you guys are very entertaining but extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Since you guys both have the coaching background, and I listen to you guys sometimes like, okay, I know the game, but these guys are saying things I didn't look at it in that perspective. So I totally learn from you guys. I get entertained and I do learn at the same time. So I'm happy to have you guys to be on here with you guys for once. It's been a whole lot of fun. But catch me on 49er Minded on YouTube. Again, you can follow my Instagram, 49er Minded, my Twitter. I'm more active on my Twitter more so than anything else, but I do have a 49er Minded Facebook group where I do welcome other content creators posting their stuff on there. And it's a lot of fun. And oh yeah, so if subscribe to my channel, but also subscribe to No Border Sports because I do some collabs on there with the Hip Hop Show, Chill at the Spot, and sometimes we do it on my channel too. So if you guys are hip hop aficionados and want to listen to us talk about music, feel free to jump on and check us out.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate both of you guys coming on, and I look forward to working with both of you in the future. You guys did an absolutely great job today, and I think we can have a lot of conversations about a lot of different things, not just the draft. So I'd be looking forward to definitely working with you guys again because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Who's the one that makes the beats out of you guys? Because I know somebody threw in the 49er Minded soundbite into your little music, and I know one of you guys knows how to make beats, but I don't know which one it is though.
That was me. I did that.
Okay, good job with that. Oh
That
yeah,
one.
from the alley-oop to Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us
literally
to
all
brick
this
by
guy.
brick.
Literally all that guy
There
over
you
there. Is it Baymac? Baymac would say left nut, and I'm right.
That's what he says.
That's what he says. So that would be that gentleman over there. Look, man, hey, we cannot thank you guys enough, and we're looking forward to be able to do more stuff with you guys, collab with you guys, come on, have you guys on, etc., and have a bunch of fun conversations. That's what the channel is about. That's what we're trying to do, is have more and more conversations with more and more, not just 49ers content creators, but more of the faithful as well. More fans, more perspectives, more ways to look at this team, more ways to break this team down, because there isn't just one way to do it, right? There's tons of ways to slice this cat up and look at this San Francisco 49ers roster and how they're building it going forward. Today was a lot of fun, though. It was a lot of fun having both of you guys on, both perspectives as well. And Cutback Crew, if you enjoyed, make sure you go give them some love. Not only like this video, but go give them some love, give them some subscribes. Head on over there, show some love in their chats as well, because they are putting out content. They are grinding just as much as we are. All the 49er content creators right now are pumping it out, and I absolutely love to see it. And look, if you want more Cutback Crew after this, stick around. Come on over if you're a channel member, or if you're not a channel member yet, you can join the channel right now, because we're going to have 49ers War Room Aftermath, where Ant and I are going to go through and talk about with you, the Cutback Crew, what just happened, this draft itself, and have some fun conversations. So, gentlemen, wonderful to have you both on. Thank you again for your time. And Cutback Crew, until the next one, stay safe.
And remember, the right way
Is always the 49ers way.
You subscribed, but are you a channel member? You probably should be.
You get extra additional content, Madden gameplays, you get early access to tons of different videos, as well as what do we call those things again? Oh, that's right. Live membership only live streams. That's right. Only for members, only for you. You get all of our time, and not just football, Ant.
Yeah, lots of other stuff as well. So go ahead and click the join button right now and join the 49ers Cutback Crew.
Get some cool emojis also.
Oh, yeah, that as well.